on here 2 hours early, because when I finish with you, I still got the whole evening left.
That's right.
Which is good, because you, and I thank you and I thank your wife for this, because today's your wedding anniversary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man.
32.
She's a boss if she lets you come spend time with me on the anniversary.
She's used to it. She's used to it. It's the martial art wife, you know?
Yeah, I know. And I mean, I know that many of us have tried and we have not been successful. You know.
Well, I'll tell you the secret.
Go.
Her father helped me open the school, so she had no choice.
Well, okay. Right. Yeah, I read that in your bio. So
we can talk about all that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. This is what I thought of. Can you tell me what it is that he saw in you that first let him give you his daughter's hand in marriage, and then secondly, it helped you to open up your first school?
Well, first off, I was always respectful. You know, I'm always a gentleman. I've always treated her well. I respected her family. So I was always welcome there. And also, she has 2 older sisters, and both of them, the boyfriends or husband at the time, were asses. So he hated them. So I was in like Flint because I was the nice guy. I helped them out and did whatever.
Yeah.
So when my wife was pregnant, and she had to stay home, I worked 2 jobs. So I was teaching part-time at this school, and I started making the school big, but he wasn't really paying me anything but $100. And my father-in-law saw this, and he said, "Hey, do you think you could do this on your own?" And I said, "I think so." And he said, "What do you think it would cost?" And I go, I don't know, 30 grand maybe. And he loaned me the money and helped me, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
I wish he was alive to see this.
Yeah. I mean, I read that story, and last night we had a little Academy birthday celebration for Glenn. So we were all over at the socially distanced, of course, but we're all over at the sushi restaurant. And the topic of nature versus nurture came up. So as a follow-on to what you just described yourself, so where did you learn that from? Where did you learn to be respectful, to treat people like human beings? Where did that come from?
From my parents. If I ever mouthed off, talked back, treated my sister, if I ever did anything disrespectful to my sister, I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in 4th grade, she was in 1st grade, and we had to walk home from school, and there was a tornado warning, and they were letting us out of school to run home. Well, I got out first, and I was waiting for her, and they were yelling at me to run home, and I was like, no, I can't go, until my sister came out, and finally she came out and ran, and my parents were like so proud of me for that. And you know, I've always respected women. My pet peeve is any guy who touches a woman. I just hate that. And there's just no reason for it. And my dad's always treated my mom great. They're still married now, you know, I don't even know, 60 some years or whatever.
Right.
And you know, that's just key to a happy marriage. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You know? So, okay. Well, you brought it up. You mentioned pet.
Yep.
So tell us about dear old departed Max.
Well, when I opened the school, well, he was part of the school at one time, but I always loved Mastiff breeds. I've had an Old English Mastiff, and then I had the Bull Mastiff. And my partner who came on and helped me started designing the website, he actually did that and made Max the mascot of the school.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. And then I love the little captions he put down there for them too, you know.
Oh yeah. And so it probably people can't read it. So let me see if I can pull it up myself and read it. It's because your website's awesome, right?
Oh, thanks.
Oh yeah, I was on there. It's one of those websites that if the nerd ends up on the website, they're gonna read the whole thing.
That's what I wanted. At least, you know, you can go and get some information on it and stuff. And actually, my partner's making a new and improved one, so
Nice.
pretty soon, you know, that'll be up there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I think the website's important, and people should get some idea of who you are, and maybe a little history, and maybe almost like a little personal level, you know.
Yeah. So for those of you who can't see it, I'll tell you, Max's ranking and accolades include 6th-degree black belt in Doggy Do under Guru Arf Arf, 3rd-degree black belt in Scooby Snack Combatives under Deputy Dog, and 3rd-degree black belt in Sit and Shake from K9 Academy International. That's awesome.
He was the man.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. So on the website, here's something that I noticed about it. I think I wrote them. I think I wrote them all down. Yes. Okay. So the website has everything covered, like you just said, right? So kids program, teens program, adult program, corporate wellness, homeschool, senior citizens, women's self-defense, and what have you. So two things. How did all of that come about? Actually, just tell me that story.
Well, I've always loved self-defense first off, and I've always been a big advocate of women's self-defense, and I've always been doing it. So as I've been doing it, the senior center came about, and they asked me if I could come and do senior self-defense. So that came about. I've done realtor self-defense and gone to realtor places. So I've kind of tried to branch out just that women's self-defense into a bigger category of people and try to reach them. And then, you know, I forget the other things he said.
There's the corporate wellness and the and the homeschool programs.
Yeah, I've actually gone to like some schools and done like just a pep talk. Yes, we can. You know, how to keep your spirits up. You know, don't be thinking stinking, what you want to call it, and you know, one of those old things. You know, but I've done that, and I'm not a great public speaker or anything. I don't know about going and giving wellness speeches, but you know, I'd try.
Yeah. Okay, so I just realized that we just got going and I did not do the introduction that I was supposed to do. All right. So everyone, in case you have not noticed, we are in episode 142 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues with Marc Halleck. So you guys have already logged in, and Russell and Paul Johnson, of course, they know the deal because they're on every week. So they've said where they're logging in from. So guys, say hello to Marc Halleck, Marc is a guy who is neck deep into the business of martial arts, and he's been doing it quite skillfully for quite some time now. So I thought that he'd be a perfect guy to get insights from on how Jeet Kune Do fares with the general public, you know, how it's accepted as a veritable martial art method. So Marc Halleck, a belated welcome to the Jeet Kune Do Dialogue.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here. Quite honored.
Thank you. Man. So, so were you, the last time I was in Minnesota, were you there for one of Rick
audio
Faye's?
Just cut out.
Oh, did it?
Audio just cut out.
Okay, hold on. It says he's good. Good. All right. So yeah, sorry about that, man. That was quite a mess up there. So now I have to try to remember what we were last talking about.
You were just doing the intro.
Is that what it was?
things on my website we were talking about.
Yeah. See, I was being punished for doing that JKD Kali thing of just going with the flow, you know,
Yeah.
instead of, but you know, that actually raises a question for me. Uh, You started, I went to the bio. You started martial art a little bit later in life than most people, didn't you?
Yeah, I started at 19.
Yeah, yeah, I realized that. So, and you glossed over something earlier. I don't know if we were live when you said it, but I realized that you were glossing over it because um, on the bio it says that you contributed to the success of the school and something else. So were you like the program director or something?
I was the head instructor.
Ah,
So they let me bring in, they didn't have JKD at this school. It was basically a kickboxing school and a karate school. And the owner was open-minded and wanted to bring in, you know, something else, which I heard through the grapevine. So I went and talked to him, and he hired me and basically let me do my curriculum and, you know, promote people through his place, but with that curriculum.
right.
And it was kind of successful.
Okay, but now um was this was this the Taekwondo school? Because now I'm a little bit confused.
Okay, so here I'll give you kind of quick timeline.
Okay,
So from 82 to 87, I did Taekwondo.
right.
And I joined this Grandmaster. He was right from Korea. There was no point tournaments, none of that back in that day.
Right.
He was actually a breaker. So we would have to hit things constantly and do this. And I was there 5 days a week. I mean, it was like the kung fu movies. Me and a couple of my friends there,
Yeah.
I can show you pictures. We'd set up railroad ties in his backyard, and we'd practice our kicks on the railroad ties and jumping over stupid stuff, and just like in the movies. So then I got married and I had to move from where we lived. So I moved farther away, and there was really no schools out there or anything. And I happened to notice, do you know who Glenn Doms is?
Yes.
Well,
DAHMS, right?
DA.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Well, he had a little tiny school at the corner. I
Mhm.
didn't know anything about anything. I didn't even know really Jeet Kune Do.
Okay.
I studied some ninjutsu with Stephen Hayes. I went to some seminars. I almost got to go to see Francis Fong back in the day, but I got injured at my black belt test, so I couldn't go. So I feel like I missed out early.
Yeah.
So anyway, I met Glenn Doms. He kind of showed me a little bit.
Right.
I joined his school, and I was there maybe a year and a half. It was quite the experience. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
And the best thing about that experience was I met Pete Hetrick.
Yes.
And he's the one who basically said, hey, why don't you drive up to Beloit and I'll train with you, and, you know, and the rest is history from there. He taught me all that stuff. And then I was teaching at the school, and I would actually bring Pete in for seminars all the time. So that way it saved me from going to Beloit all the time.
Okay, watch this. I'm going to try to impress you. Beloit, is that where John Filiu, is it Filiu? Was there a guy named John that was involved with Pete in Beloit?
I think, did he have like red hair?
Yeah.
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 Right? Yeah, because I remember, well, Pete as a character in and of it. I mean, right? But there were two other guys from Wisconsin. There was the red-haired guy, and then there was a darker-haired guy, a soft-spoken guy. But now I don't remember the names. But I have a little bit of history with the Wisconsin group.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
My actual first Guru Dan seminar was I don't know if it was Pete's last Beloit seminar at the hockey rink or not, but I think it was.
Okay.
Because he didn't have everyone there. It was just Guru Dan for 5 days.
Right. Oh yeah, the old Wisconsin camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was not that experienced because I'll tell you what, I was kind of taught that we were doing, I was being taught Inosanto method, but really I wasn't. And I didn't realize that till I went to Guru Dan and saw him do stuff, and I was so lost.
Yeah.
And luckily, that's when I kind of met Rick Fay and all those guys, and they helped me because I was there by myself. And luckily, they helped me out. And
yeah. All right. So let me ask you an existential question. Do you think there really is such a thing as Inosanto method?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what you think Inosanto method is.
I think it's all the different teachings that Guru Dan teaches us. And as he evolves, I think his teachings evolve.
Okay.
Like,
So it's not a fixed method.
No.
Okay. Okay. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I do believe there are core things that are fixed.
Okay.
Like there's things at my school that, here's a thing too, I'm a full instructor under Ron Balicki. I'm super high under Guru Dan, Sifu Rick Fay. When I teach, I make sure you're learning material that if you go see these people, you will fit right in and go, oh, we do this at our school. We do this at our school. So I make sure, they know the Inosanto counts 1 to 17, although Ron's taken us way past. But I make sure they know all their 5 counts, downward, upward, all the trait things that Guru Dan always does when we see them, the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And, same thing with Ron and them. So I make sure those core things are always in. And actually, I just updated my curriculum. It'd been about 5 years since I did it, because I've seen Guru Dan add things in, and I go, wow, I think that's important that my guys should be learning. So that's the hard part about having a set curriculum for a school, because when I find things I want to add in, it's hard for me to do it unless I revamp the whole thing.
And that's drastically different from the 6 years you spent in the Tae Kwon Do school, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a kata and maybe break a board, and that was it.
Right. I correct me if I'm wrong. 1988, there were 2 things. So I have to ask you, which was more exciting / nerve-wracking? Getting the black belt or getting married?
I don't know. She's probably watching too.
Yeah, because I noticed that on the bio. I go, I gotta find that out. So the oh shoot. See, now I lost track in my own mind because I was trying to be funny. Oh, I'll try to be funny again. I have to ask you, because I'm sure this is the silliest joke that everybody has put on you for decades, but I'm gonna do it. What's it like working in the NSA?
My old shirts at the beginning only said NSA right here.
Right.
I had people come up to me, do you work for the NSA? And I'd be like, I own it. And they'd look at me like, what? My guys want me to go back to that old style.
Right. Yeah. It. So this is, I've told people all the time, and when I finish with you, I'm gonna talk to the people at Be Live and tell them that this is the second time that I've had audio problems with somebody. But if we were on Be Live, I could, like, in 2 clicks, I could show them something. But with Zoom, it's a little bit harder, but I'm gonna try to do it. You tell me, can you see that?
Yep.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Yep. Yeah.
When was this picture? Can you remember?
That was, well, I had hair. So that was in Waterloo, Indiana. And I'd say
that's Keith
Witowski's.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say 08 maybe.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
now, okay, so now this is NSA martial arts. Are you with Inosanto at that time, or who are you training under primarily at that time?
Ron Balicki.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
was training under Guru Dan too, because here's the thing. I'm sure Guru Dan won't come to Illinois. There's a long strife, tidbit, whatever there is. So Guru Dan doesn't come to Illinois. So the only times really he's nearby is Minnesota
Right.
or Indiana. So I
Right.
have to go to either of those places to keep my hours up and train
Yeah.
with Guru Dan. I've gone out to LA only once or twice. I'm not really a big traveler, if I must admit.
Okay.
But, I'll travel around when he's here and stuff like that. And I've been training with Guru Dan. I saw him. Actually, what's funny is in '97, I saw in Chicago they were having a Diana Inosanto and Ron Balicki seminar.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who was Ron Balicki. I wanted to see Diana. So I
Right.
went to the seminar to train with Diana. It turned out Ron was the head guy and turned out to be awesome. And basically the rest is history. But I always joke with him that I actually went to see Diana and not
Right. Yeah. um, the other thing that because I noticed this in my early days with the Midwesterners. Like I forget where I was. Maybe I was in Michigan, or I could have been in Minnesota. But I noticed that people would come in from Wisconsin, and they'd come in from Illinois, and they'd come in from Indiana and what have you. And at that time, well, let's see. Now I don't remember because it's been so long, but I remember experiencing that. Have you ever been down to Francis Fong's in Atlanta?
No.
Okay, but that's where I experienced that, because you go into the car park outside his place, and there's Virginia, and there's Alabama, and there sometimes there's people that drove up from Florida, and but the Illinois thing, or the Midwestern thing, I was like, wow, these guys are they're like super dedicated and willing to travel.
Sometimes we have no choice.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned the Minnesota seminars. Rick Fay has been bringing Inosanto in since what, about 1980?
Oh God, I don't even know how long. Long time.
What's the cool I'm going to ask you, another dumb question, right? But again, in your bio on the website, there's different names mentioned. So ever since Sifu Dan's 70th birthday, I have tried to get people to do. The first version was an actual book, so it was a written happy birthday book. And since the internet, I've tried to do it every year, where they come online and we do a video birthday card. So this is how I would set it up. 3 things: the short story of how you came to meet, train under, and be certified under Inosanto. The greatest lesson that you think you've learned from him, and then your favorite Inosanto story. I'm going to ask you to do that for Rick Fay. Let's start with Rick Fay, because all these names that I'm going to call are in your bio on the website. So the short story of how you came to meet and train under, and if you're certified under them, how that happened. What's probably the most important thing you think you've learned from them, and then like your favorite story about them.
Okay.
So let's start with Rick Fay.
Okay, I first met Rick Fay at Pete's camp in Beloit, but we just kind of met, not really anything big. And then once I opened my school, I kind of touched base with them and kept in contact. And then in '02, I believe, maybe '03, I brought him down for the first seminar started training, went to his instructor camps, became part of that group. Okay. And yeah.
It says, I do have it. It says, a truly selfless individual who helped me grow into martial arts even more. Explain that.
Rick has always been so selfless to me. I mean, anything I needed, he's always been there to help me. You know, I have my DVD series, that Panatukan CLOP program. And at one point he sat in my kitchen with me and looked at the curriculum and kind of, you know, I wanted his input, as I did with Ron and stuff, to make sure I was putting out a quality product. Mm-hmm. He had no problem giving me advice and telling me, oh, I should do this and not that. He's come to my school and just, you know, helped out. I mean, he's just really a great guy, you know, and from him, I think the biggest lesson I've learned is love the art and be open-minded about it, you know, because I'll say this, Ron Balicki to me is the fighter. He like, when I train with him, I've been beat up, bruised, beat up more. Mm-hmm. And it's great, but he gave me that aggressiveness, where Rick is so artsy. Not that Rick doesn't have that, but he is real artsy and, you know, believes let's just have fun and let's do it. And, you know, Rick Fay loves double stick, which I love. I'm a freak of double stick, the harder the better. And I love Panatukan. So me and him kind of just jive in that realm.
Okay. How do you pronounce Hawk's last name? Hawkheim?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how did you meet him? Because it says here that his unique teaching style. That's what it says. Explain that to me.
Hawk, I met him when I first actually opened the school. I saw an ad that he was putting out this knife fighting book, and I reached out to him. And we kind of talked a little, and he said he was going to be in Michigan, in Kalamazoo, that I should come out and meet him. So I did. I drove out to Kalamazoo, and we met, and it turned out to be a great meeting. He was a really cool guy, funny. He reminds me of Clint Eastwood. And he's a real Dallas police officer.
Right.
He's crazy. I mean, his stuff, you know, he was a big modern arnis guy, and he trained in the Inosanto stuff for a while, but he kind of almost did his own thing and came up with these combative courses. And, you know, they were really fun, really good. I mean, he's something else. He's an underrated instructor, in my opinion. Even though he's out there a lot, not a lot of people really know about him. And, he is good. I mean, we did like shootouts with airsoft guns in the back of my school, and he hog-tied one of my guys with zip ties. And actually, the funniest story about him is the night before he came to my school, he was doing security work at some construction site. People came to rob it. He got into a fight with a guy with a gun. It went off right here. So when he came in, he had powder burns and he couldn't hear. He's like, all I hear is, ee! It's hilarious. Crazy.
Oh, man. Okay, so you briefly mentioned Balicki, but can you tell us more about him? Like, how you met him? I assume you met him at Degerberg's then, probably?
I met him at Degerberg, and here's an even funnier story before that. In 1988, when I was trying to find where I wanted to go, I had some VHS tapes of Randy Williams, Wing Chun.
Yes.
And I called Randy Williams because he was in Chicago and said I wanted to train.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'm leaving for Singapore, but why don't you train with my top student, Ron Balicki? And I go, no, that's okay. Oh, what a stupid mistake.
Yeah.
But thank goodness I reconnected with him years later. And honestly, he's the biggest influence in my martial career. He has taken me from here to here. I couldn't have done it without him. And the thing I love about Ron the most is he's not like a seminar curriculum guy, because he actually taught at the academy. So he actually had you know, he would teach sets, the full sets. He was big in Lamako.
Yeah.
So we're big into Lamako. And he's just great at everything he does. Shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is amazing, and I can't thank him enough for like all the stuff he's done for me.
He's I call him mini Inosanto, because
Yeah.
to me he's Dan Inosanto in another body, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah, he really is.
And he might have mellowed out a little now, but I was with him when he was not mellow. I have so many bruises and couldn't move after seminars. And then I met Larry Lindemann too. And he's another genius of a guy.
Yeah.
And I took privates with him a lot. And he would come to the school and do seminars. But he is the one who really taught me how to free flow spar with a stick. Because
Right.
he was anti-pattern and he had no problem hitting you. So every time we train, I'd be like this for 2 days. I couldn't even put my hands in my pockets.
Yeah.
But I learned so much just from that stuff. So that lineage of Guru Ron and Larry and
listen, there are some top people that, like, I call them collectively the Chicago group, right? But I mean, not everybody's from Chicago directly, but that Illinois 1980s Illinois group, man, there were some
great people.
Yeah, there were some boss people in there. You're certified in Balintawak as well?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you another funny story to that. I was at seeing Guru Dan at Rick Fay's place, and it was a Saturday, and Guru Dan comes up to me and says, "Mark, I've been training with this Balintawak master, and I think he might have relatives in Chicago, but you should bring him in." And I go, "Okay, Guru Dan, I'll think about it." Not even entertaining the idea, because I was bringing in Guru Rick and Ron and,
right.
You know. So I come back to the seminar on Sunday, and Guru Dan comes up to me and says, "Mark, I called the Grandmaster. He's expecting your call." Like, okay. So I called him Monday, and honestly, it turned out to be another greatest thing I ever did. And I thank Guru Dan for that. Grandmaster Atillo, he's unbelievable. You talk about Wing Chun with the stick. The man is so fast. Unbelievable. His close-in Balintawak skills, unbelievable. And he's a little crazy. He's very opinionated. That's all I'll say on that. Gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt sometimes.
Right.
And there's one other funny story with him. The first time he came in and I hosted him, there's no Filipino restaurants by us. So I figured I would take him to a Japanese steakhouse where we could have rice and whatever. Well, as we sit down, he proceeds to tell me and my wife how him and his dad were trapped in a cave and bombed by the Japanese, and his family was taken away, and he wouldn't eat anything. And I was so embarrassed.
My God.
Oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Oh, that was insane.
Oh, geez. Because as you were saying that, I was like, yeah, I wonder if that will work out. So has he come back out to your place?
Oh yeah, I've had him out for years.
So where do you take him now?
Now he likes fried chicken or fish. So
Okay.
I close by. Where they have fish or fried chicken. At one time, it was only fried chicken, morning, noon, and night. He wanted fried chicken.
Wow.
So I was like, well, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And he always joke, "Vegetables are my enemy. Vegetables are my enemy." So I'm like, okay. He's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's do Inosanto.
You can't say enough about Guru Dan. I met him at the camp. I trained with him periodically, and then Ron is actually the one who sponsored me and got me into the instructor program with Guru Dan.
Okay.
And the rest, I was just following him ever since and keeping my hours up. And I love Guru Dan. I can't say enough about him. He's a legend. And here, you want to see this? This is probably a one of a kind. I don't know anyone who's got this. Can you see that?
Oh, I've seen that online, but I don't know anybody who's got one.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That's
Oh
like
my
it's like a
God.
treasured thing, you know, of Guru Dan. And he
Yeah.
taught, and he's like, "Where did you get that?"
Yeah.
You know,
Well, see.
but yeah, Guru Dan
Yeah.
has been just a huge influence on me, teaching me that, you know what, you shouldn't be closed-minded. You should investigate all these different arts and this and that, and you know, basically like what he said, absorb what is useful and reject what is useless, and
Hmm.
you know, kind of
Hmm.
make it what's your own. And I've kind of gravitated towards certain areas that I really love.
Yeah.
And you know, but at my school we do everything, you know, because I don't want to teach my students Marc Halleck's Jeet Kune Do. They get the lump of clay just like I was given.
Right.
And you know, my example of that is, you know, Guru Ron, and even, well, Guru Dan teaches, you know, the 1-2 series. There's 1 to 20 variables. There's 20 variables off the right cross.
Hmm.
So I teach most of them to my students, but they only pick the couple that they like to work on.
Yeah.
But I tell them that if I don't teach them all of them, I'm just teaching them what I like, and then they're only getting my take on it.
Hmm.
So that's why I try to be, you know, I people bitch about lists, but I have lists, and I believe you should have a list, because this way it gives you a progression and an order and a way to go. Same thing with drills. You know, people say, "Oh, drills are worthless." Well, you need drills in order to get the skills and everything. So that
Right.
never made sense to me one bit, that you know, oh, hubud is waste, you know, it's a wasted motion, or you know, trapping doesn't work, or you know, I never really understood that train of thought one bit.
Do you think that the people who have all those kinds of opinions, do you think it's because they don't run a school? Or
Yes.
could it be because they don't run a school?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know what? I have to teach so many different bodies, and my children's program is Jeet Kune Do.
Right.
I don't teach taekwondo, or you know, my kids, although it's watered down, obviously I don't teach them eye pokes. I
Hmm.
don't teach them certain things like that. They don't get collie sticks till they're like intermediate level. I don't teach them knife till they're black belts,
Hmm.
but they get all the principles, all the trapping. They get panatuken. So my whole school is JKD based,
Right.
and you know, you have to tailor it to all these different people and different bodies who come in. And you know, I got 4-year-olds to 70-year-olds. This one dude I'm giving privates to, he was 80, and I had to tailor it to fit him.
Yeah.
So it's always changing. You know, again, I have a set curriculum that I try to keep as the core, but I'll deviate from it sometimes. And you know, depending on the class and who's there, you got to change your lesson plan. And you know, and then also I'll just say to people like this, running a school is a bitch. You know, it's not just getting on the mats and teaching, dealing with parents, it's bills, it's rent. This COVID thing's really put a
Yeah.
big wrench,
Yeah.
huge wrench. I mean, I have a lot of people who didn't, we were closed from March to July 1st, closed. We were doing Zoom classes,
Hmm.
and luckily my core group stuck with through all this.
Right.
I lost a lot of people, and now we have to kind of social distance. Kali's the best social distance art there is.
I saw that postcard.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that.
uh, you know, we do that. The kids, you know, everyone has to wear masks, so we're doing the best we can. It's working out, but I hope that people start feeling comfortable and coming back,
Right.
because this could be the death of a lot of us, and
Yeah.
that's a scary thing.
Yeah. But you'd be a good person to ask, because somebody asked me this and I didn't have an answer for it. How is jujitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, doing during COVID?
Mine tanked. I mean, you
Uh,
can't grapple.
right.
The guys who stayed are kickboxing right now,
Right.
and they're working on stand up. But how can you grapple? Who's going to feel comfortable? Get, you know, I don't even clinch with my guys. We don't do any any type of that stuff. You know, the closest we've been is some trapping like that, and then it's immediately give everyone some hand sanitizer. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
You know? I pray to God this ends soon and we can go back to just normal. But I feel bad for the grappling arts. I feel it hurt the most.
Yeah.
I can't see how it didn't.
I mean, at some point and on some level, now you go, see, this is why you should have a more well-rounded approach to what you do, you know? I mean, but it is an extraordinary circumstance. Martial art business, right? When did you become aware that it was a bitch? Right at the beginning, or
after my father-in-law passed away? Because when I first opened the school, my job was to be on the mats and keep people happy and keep them at the school, and he did all the back end for me. Okay. Well, suddenly out of the blue, he got sick, and with a span of a month, he passed away.
Wow.
And I was in the dark. I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't even know how to get in his computer to find the info on my people. So
really?
So I had to hire someone to get in his computer and get all the stuff. And that was my crash course.
Right.
Learning all of a sudden that I had to do all this. And
that's where, because I remember in the old days, all of us JKD instructors had the dream that somebody would do all the office stuff and we would just do all the teaching stuff. And that was like that, and you'd be in heaven with that. It's not true, is it?
Not true. You know, until you can afford to hire a few instructors, it's not true.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm so lucky with the staff and guys I have. They've been with me a long time. You know, they train with all the same instructors. You know, I've never been one that keeps secrets. I know some teachers, you know, don't let their students train with it. You know, I bring them to Guru Dan. I bring them here. You know, if we do privates, I let them in. You know, I'm really, you know, I love my guys, and I try to, you know, if I can't compensate them the best way monetarily, I'll do the best I can with training and taking them to seminars and camps. And, you know, I'm really honored and lucky to have the guys I have.
So what then would be like, okay, two aspects. What would be your advice to somebody who wants to start a school? Let's imagine that we're not going through COVID, right? So let's do post-COVID. What would be your advice for somebody who wants to start a school? And then what's your advice for somebody who wants to take it to the next level?
Well, my advice for someone to start a school is do your research. Make sure you find a spot or a community that can support it, because my school is not in the town I live in, because the town I live in is more blue collar and they couldn't support. So I went to a higher upscale town a few towns away,
right?
Because I knew they had money over there and it's not such a big deal. So location's big. I don't really think storefront is that essential, but it helps. And just do your research. And
now, when you say okay, so what's an aspect of? I mean, I don't want you to go into detail or whatever, but what's an aspect of the research?
The who your target market is. You know, are you going to a community that has kids and young adults, or are you going to a more area where there's older people and not so many people that are technically going to come to your school? You know, then find out what your niche is. You know, are there 5 Tae Kwon Do schools in the area? What can you do that's different? What can you do to stand out, to be different than everyone else?
You know what's funny about that? I have a thing in my notes here. Let me see if I can find it. It says, I can't find it. But it was essentially, it was, what makes your school unique?
Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah.
The philosophy we teach, you know, we don't do katas. We don't stand in horse stances. We don't break boards and bricks. You know, the parents really, at first they don't understand it, but
Right.
then they love it, because I tell them this: you're paying me to teach your kids self-defense, whether it's just for discipline or for confidence, whatever it is, you're still bringing your kids to me to learn self-defense. And if I'm just a lazy instructor, and I'm not putting anyone down, but let's say, you know, I'm lazy and I just say, okay, guys, work on your katas for 40 minutes and I'll sit here like this. You
Right.
know, you're not learning anything. You
Right.
know, I want the kids to have hands up, know how to throw punches, stranger danger. We teach the little kids, and bully defense. And, you know, I'm confident that my kids, you're not going to come to me and say, I paid for 3 years and my kid just got bullied. I firmly believe our training, that won't happen. And that what kind of makes us different. You know, we play music, we teach the kids all sorts of different things. And most schools don't do that. You know, we teach them to be open-minded. We work with the parents. We check report cards. You know, we do this and that. And for my adults, it's just a relaxed atmosphere. It's not all this hierarchy. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Bow to me every 5 seconds. No, you show me respect. I show you respect. We work out. We have a great time.
Yeah. What the adults, what do they come to you for?
Stress relief a lot, just something to do, or they did martial arts a long time ago and now they want to get back into it.
Right.
That's a lot what I hear. But you get the stories. I was a kickboxer when I was 15. You know, I was a champion. You know, it's like, okay, come on in. You know, I do a free week. I let everyone come in, try a couple classes. You know, the first thing I have someone do is shadow box. I can tell in 2 seconds what kind of training you have.
Right.
And, you know, it's but everyone's welcome. It's friendly. Leave your ego at the door. I one time had this guy come in and he was bigger than me, and he goes up, you know, and he says, "Who's the instructor here?" And I look at him, I go, "I am." And he looks down on me and he goes, "Well, what can you teach me?" And I went, "Wow." I go, "Nothing. Get out." And I out of the school. And I couldn't believe it. You know, that someone would come in with, like, you know, like that. So I booted them out. But other than that, you know, it's everyone's friend. I have lots of women. That's the one thing I will say, that I don't know why, but I'm so blessed that I have a lot of women students. And even my kids' class, sometimes the girls outweigh the boys.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know why.
But this is not like a women's fitness kickboxing or whatever. This is the adult program.
Jeet Kune Do, Jeet Kune Do. But yeah, I don't know why, but I'm really happy.
I'll tell you why. They're smarter than men.
Yeah.
That's why. They're smart.
I'm lucky, and I'm so happy with that, because I love them. You know,
that's great.
And teaching them knives, and you know,
that's great.
Yeah, and I feel good that anyone feels comfortable coming.
Yeah, I mean, if women feel comfortable in a place, then it's probably evidence that you're doing it the right way. Because
I'll tell you this: I probably have the cleanest bathroom in any martial arts. So there you go.
Yes, that is true. They will judge the entire school on the state of the women's bathroom. You're right about that. So what about the guy who wants to take his school to the next level?
Train, you know, train with other people, you know, that I never stopped learning. Even when I open, you know, I'm still training, you know, with Ron and Rick and Guru Dan. I mean, just keep learning, keep growing, and keep trying to experiment with things. Some work, some don't. But if you don't try them, you're never going to be able to break to that next level. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to me, the next level was outgrowing one school and moving into another. And you know, I feel like, you know, I feel like I was the face of the school, and my attitude and my philosophy is what brings people in and keeps people, because I'm not an asshole, and you can talk to me, you can joke with me. I mean, I make everyone feel welcome. I'm humble. I'm not, you know, so I don't know. I just think my personality, maybe
Mhm.
I'm lucky. I'm blessed. And that's all I guess I'll say about that. You know, I'm just
You went from 1,500 square feet in 1988.
no, I opened the school in 97.
Oh,
88.
okay. 88 was where you were teaching at the
Yeah,
other
I
place, right?
started training with Glenn and was teaching at the other school. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So 97. Right. Yes. Okay. Because it's a 3-year and a 5-year thing, I think it was. So you were 3 years at 1,500 square feet, and then in 2000, 4,000 square feet, and in 2008, 6,000 square feet,
And own the building.
and owned the building.
Not that the bank owns it, but I bought it.
Okay. Okay. So now, but years before that, you didn't even know how to get into your father-in-law's computer.
Nope.
So where did you go to learn to be able to pull that off?
Trial and error. I would pick people's brains, Dave Kovar and people
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Who had martial, you know, I belonged to Maya at one time.
Okay.
I belonged to those groups because I felt like I needed to learn some of that stuff to bring to my school, the business end especially.
Yes.
Stuff like that. So I got a lot of that. Some of that stuff I didn't like and thought it was hokey, but some of the stuff really did help me. And Dave Kovar helped me with, you know, business things and stuff like that. So, I mean, I did branch out and try to learn from the martial art community, try to get a mentor of some kind.
Okay.
But I did a lot of it on my own.
Okay. Let me ask you about that. How many of your peers do you know embrace that approach, that went to the martial art business organizations?
Not many.
I know. I knew the answer already. Why is that? I did it. You did it.
It's because they think it's for taekwondo and karate, and it's all, you know, I just think people turn their nose down, you know, oh McDojo. But you know what? Some of that McDojo works.
Well, have they never heard of absorb what is useful? I mean, if the Taekwondo guy, okay, God damn it, if the Taekwondo guy, right, you see him, you live in the same community, you see him, and you can tell he's enjoying life. You're not enjoying life. What do? You just stick your head in the sand and you go, no. Or do you freaking learn
what he's doing?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did and had to do. And
yeah,
that, you know, I still have all those notebooks and stuff put away and stuff, but you know, I had to. And it's not even, you know, swallowing your pride. It's making yourself better and just taking whatever principles work for other schools and see how they can apply to Jeet Kune Do, because that's why I think Jeet Kune Do schools don't do that good. And there's not that many, because I think they can just open the door, teach whatever. I even have belts at my school. My adults earn belts because I feel that people want to see that achievement and that reward. I trained when I was with Pete and stuff. We didn't really have rank. It was one day you were given a certificate and here you're an apprentice instructor. But you can't have a school like that. People want to see progress. People want to see that they're advancing. So I took my Jeet Kune Do curriculum and broke it up into levels so they could earn some rank that way. Would they say they're a black belt in Jeet Kune Do? No, they'll be certified, but the belt is for them to feel some accomplishment and for me to know how much they know. I know where they stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. And the thing is, like I say all the time, whatever way it is that the Jeet Kune Do guy wants to approach the whole ranking thing, that's entirely up to them. As long as it's not hurting anybody, as long as you're not you know, becoming a belt factory and giving stuff away, and every month it's $25 for another stripe on a belt, and you know, and we had a place here in Miami they sold a 2-year black belt guarantee.
When people come to my school and ask how long it'll take, I say it depends on you.
Yeah.
You know, if you work super hard, you
Yeah.
might get it in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I stole a thing from Chris Kent that I use in martial art and outside of martial art with regards to how long will it take? It takes as long as it takes.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and yeah.
I mean, how long does it take to get, you know, a full instructor in Guru Dan? It's been over 25 years and I'm still pushing for it.
Yeah, and when you talk about, I only know outside of LA people, Rick Fay is the only senior full instructor that I know.
Yep.
I don't know anybody else outside of LA.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
So yeah. So how long does that take? I mean, come on. Right. But when you were with Kovar and what have you, was that exciting? Like you're physically talented and skilled, but now here's this whole new avenue. Was that exciting, or was it a laborious process? How was it?
Oh, it was exciting because I like learning. So it opened up a new door for me to learn and research, and you know what? Go, hey, this would work here, this wouldn't.
Right.
This would work, this wouldn't. You know, and I'm a sponge when it comes to that stuff. I like learning. I love reading. I love doing that stuff. I have a huge library. So when it got where it was so repetitious that I was sick of it, that's when I kind of stopped with it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, because after a while,
you see the same thing repackaged.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a regurgitation of the old information. Yeah, because there's really only so much stuff that you can do, and then everything else is just a variation on that.
And then it's trial and error.
Right. Yeah. But see now, because of Kali, for example, we understand the root, and then we understand all the variations off the root. So if you study with Dave Kovar, you see the root of what it is that he's teaching, right?
Right.
Yeah. Do you use the rotating curriculum?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. Because I learned that from him.
Mm-hmm. It's great because this way, here's the thing. Okay, so you have in my adults do this too. So I have a beginner curriculum, and it's for the bottom. I'm just going to use my belt level: white, yellow, and orange.
Okay.
So no matter, let's say you come into the school as a new person and we're at section 3, you can fit in at section 3, and by the time you're an intermediate, you've gone all the way around and covered everything.
Right.
And I usually have them go through twice, and not just once. So twice. Because I figure if they've gone through it once, they're going to forget at the end. So I ingrain it. And then when they move to intermediate, they have to show me everything from that whole thing. So I learned that from Ron, making testing hard.
Right.
And they don't pay for it. So if they don't pass, they don't pass.
Yeah.
You know, they can't say anything. But, you know, I'm not a Gestapo, but, you know, I want them to know and make sure they're doing it right. And, you know, same with my online training. You know, that's the one thing. I have my Pentateuchon series, and I always tell those people who train long distance, I'm going to be extra hard on you because you're not seeing me face to face. And I don't want anyone ever accusing me of selling a belt or you just buying it, you know, no way. So I'm way harder on those people.
What's the platform you use for the online stuff?
The Pentateuchon C-Lot. I have that 10-level DVD series, and it sells worldwide. I've got students. I'll actually give these guys a plug. Louis Alonso and Heinz Iselli. They're my 2 instructors in Switzerland. They're the first ones I got.
Wow.
But but it's really good, you know. And my thing is, I love C-Lot and I love Pentateuchon. But my thing with C-Lot was the traditional part of stepping with the right and punching with the right and then doing it. I felt that would not work on the street because people don't do that. So
Yeah.
what I did was I took all the Pentateuch entries, all your destructions, and then finished with C-lot sweeps and takedowns and finishes and locks, and turned it into this whole big thing. And it actually turned out way better than I ever thought.
Yeah.
And you know, I wish I could add on to it because I did it, you know, over 10 years ago, and now I've learned. That's the one bad thing about putting it on video, because when you learn more, you can't go and update it.
Ah, okay. So here's what you do. I'll give you the clue for that. You call it volume 1.
Yep.
Right?
I'm doing volume 2.
Yeah, you call it volume 1. Anything that you put out, right? The first time, this is volume 1. Then you leave yourself open. That door is open for updates and what have you.
I'm surprised you haven't asked about the hammer.
Well, I was going to get to that because so I noticed the hammer defense thing. I noticed it's not Krav Maga. Is it Krav Maga also? Was that a program too at your place?
I trained a little Krav with Avi Nardia for a while. So we have it at the school, but it's more a women's self-defense we turned it into.
Okay.
So I don't have any program like on DVD or anything like that. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So no, I was going to get to the hammer defense system. So yeah.
Well, how I came about that is I saw Master Mal Morney playing around with it, and I thought, holy moly, that's freaking cool. So I took it and I said, how can I apply this to Pentateuch and C-lot? So first off, my disclaimer is you can't walk around and hit people with a hammer. Okay, so how can I solve this problem? So I made everything off knife attacks. So someone's attacking you with a knife. Not everyone has martial skill. Not everyone owns a firearm. Not everyone has a gun, but every household has a hammer. Everyone has a hammer. So this person's attacking you, and I teach how to disarm with the hammer and then how to finish the person off with the hammer. And it's so fun. You know, Ron did a little guest appearance on it. We spar with the hammer and stuff like that, knife versus hammer. And it's just really fun. And you know what? It's practical. I mean, if you
wait. It is practical, but the training. Is there a training hammer? Does Cold Steel make a training hammer?
No, but my partner got one, and we have foam hammers that look exactly like it.
Okay.
We went to the hardware store and bought plastic ones, and we just used the Lameco arm guards. Be careful, but you could do it. You could do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Stuff too.
Right.
You know, you can hit focus mitts with the hammer and stuff, and train yourself to swing it, hold it reverse grip, hit with just the head of the hammer. It's fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, you know, and again, to me, that's just more evidence of what training in Kali. It just gives you this insight, you know, and you get to see things in a completely different way, which is why, you know, when we get into the argument about Bruce Lee and his opinion on Kali and what have you, I'm like, okay, well, so who cares if Bruce Lee wasn't into it? You don't look at it and go, this is an awesome art. Oh, Bruce Lee didn't think highly of it. Yeah, and?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, and Bruce Lee wasn't into big classes. You'll hear that all the time. So what do? You go, oh, I guess then I'm destined to no future, no success.
Yeah.
Right. Really?
No living at that.
Really? I mean, so unless you are a Hollywood celebrity or you're an Asian movie superstar, I don't think you're supposed to follow Bruce Lee to the letter.
Right.
You know what I mean? You might have to expand your horizons a little bit. You know, did you see my Dialogues episode with Dave Kovar?
I did.
Okay, yeah. You know, I worried about that a little bit because I thought they're gonna go, what's Dwight doing? It's not a JKD guy. But I remember Mark sitting I think we were in New York or New Jersey or something, but it was him and his brother. What was his brother's name?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but they were teaching, and his brother started to talk about copywriting. Nobody in the room knew what they were talking about. They thought it was, oh, you mean like legal stuff? Like when you put out something and it has a copyright on it? They didn't understand that they were talking about how to use words on your website, in your advertising pieces or whatever, to convey a story to people. You know, your website is one of the stickiest websites that I've come across in a while. I was on there for like 2 hours, right? Just looking through stuff and going, oh, I see what they did here. Oh, so this is for SEO, and this is right. And I was like, man, this Marc Halleck guy, he knows what's going on.
Thanks,
right?
man.
Yeah, and now, did this happen to you? Because it happened to me at that Kovar seminar. When he started explaining rotating curriculum, I go, this is what JKD needs.
Yep.
I was like, this is how we ensure that people don't get lost.
Yeah.
Right? So the same thing happened to you?
Basics. Yeah, I mean, it's the best way. I love it because I didn't do it before I met him. And
Yes.
I had a class full of 10 different belt levels, and I had to run around to each person and teach each one different things.
Right.
That was a mess.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
a mess.
Yeah.
Once I went to rotating, it made my life so much easier because what also in my curriculum, every level has the same categories: stick, knife, double stick, empty hands, boxing, trapping, yada yada.
Yeah.
So one person can say, okay, intermediates, you're working on trapping set. Intermediate or beginners, intermediates, you're working on your trapping set, and advanced is working on theirs. They're all working trapping, but different levels. So one person could technically teach a whole class of different levels by himself.
Right. Yeah, but that's way too much organization.
Well, put in the work and you'll have it,
Yeah, that's way too much organization. See, and a lot of JKD people, they don't mind putting in the physical work. They're not lazy. Physically, they're not lazy. But we have not yet been able to crack that egg that, when it comes to don't be lazy in business. They still reject that. And I'm not sure why.
People think that if you have a school and just open the door, people will just flock in because you're teaching Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. Does not even know what Jeet Kune Do is, and the kids nowadays don't even know who Bruce Lee is. So
which to me is sacrilegious. We should never lose that.
My kids
never.
Nope.
Right. Yeah, we should never lose that. And that the whole build it and they will come thing is not true.
Not true.
Build it in an area that has potential for them to come
and have a good product,
advertise it and market it, right? But that takes work, and it's another avenue or another horizon.
I can't tell you back in the day, because before internet, I was a printer, and I would work from 7 to 3 as a printer and then go teach at my school from 3 to 9 every day. But I would print my own flyers and put them on cars and walk around and put them in mailboxes. And, I would go to the fairs and do little demos and put flyers out and pass them out. And, I had to do hokey stuff, have Halloween parties. And, we went in the parade one time in the town, and I had fortune cookies made with NSA fortunes. Smart man trains at NSA, have a free week, and I mean, I just did stuff to get my name in the town, because whatever you need to have a reputation. And I have a great reputation in my town, and that's really important.
See, this is the thing, right? People will read a Bruce Lee quote about believing in yourself and having self-confidence and what have you. And then they'll reject that stuff that you just talked about. They'll reject that because really deep down inside, they don't have the confidence in themselves to go put it on the line and try to build something. So they'll sit back and criticize somebody like you.
You know what? I've had this goal since I'm still scared. You know, I don't take it for granted that it's just smooth sailing.
Right.
Never. You know, and it still worries me. And now in this time, it worries me more, but never take it for granted. But I will say this, when I opened it in 97, I thought by the year, let's say 2010, I'd be sitting on a beach drinking a coconut and the school would be running itself and I'd be easy street. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. No, but even though it's a bitch, it's the funnest bitch there is, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I love teaching people. You know, I get to make my own hours basically. Yeah. You know, I don't like always being at the school at night because I miss my kids' stuff growing up and stuff, but those are the hours we have. But it's great. I wouldn't go back 9 to 5. No way.
Yeah. All right. So let's start wrapping this up, right? So looking back, okay, in 3 areas, is there anything that you would have done differently had you known back then what you know now? At the school, in your own personal martial arts, and then life in general?
Oh boy. The first one, I don't know 100% if I would do it again, open the school.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure because it was way harder and it's still, you know, there's something, and I'm going back to when I was a printer. I had vacation, I had a paycheck, I had insurance, I had a 401k, I could call in sick and not care. All that's gone. You're that. So sometimes I fight with, would I do it again? But I probably would.
Yeah.
My personal life, I wish I would have taken that offer to meet Ron in 1988 instead of blowing him off.
No, that's your martial art life. Yeah. We're going to save the personal life for those who might be looking in.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was the third? My personal life?
Yeah, yeah. The Ron Balicki is your martial art life.
Yeah. My personal life is just keep everything balanced. I always make sure I set time for my wife and my kids. And, you know, when a lot of times when I leave the school, don't call me. I don't want to answer the phone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm home at night. That's it. Talk to me tomorrow. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, so I try to keep the martial arts, you know, away sometimes.
All right. Well, listen, Marc Halleck, I'm going to let you go now. Oh, no, wait, 2 things. Best way to get in touch with you and who should I get on the program?
Best way to get in touch with me is you can email me through the website, nsama.com, or my email is collyman33@aol.com. I'm probably the last AOL guy still.
Nope. Join the club.
Hey, are the last 3 probably.
No, Cass Magda too. Oh, Cass still has an AOL address.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what was the last thing?
Who should I get on the program? Even if it's somebody you've seen before. I already, Rick and I spoke a few weeks ago, so I already have Rick Fay tapped to do a return. Ron Balicki is always welcome. He can call me up and go, hey, make room for me, right?
What about Pete Hetrick?
Pete and I have spoken, but I don't know what goes on with him out in Texas, but we've never been able to fix it on something. So I'll hit him up again.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be cool if I could ever persuade Grandmaster Atillo, but that might be another time. I don't know.
That'd be an adventure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, get going so that 32 years from now, we can do this all over again and it'd be the 64th anniversary.
Well, I thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
You know, I thank you so much.
All right. Okay. You take care. All right.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. All right. See ya.
Yeah, but Zoom's easy.
That's true. And when I came on and I didn't see your camera, I was like, okay, maybe I'll just switch to Zoom because
Yeah,
we
I
had
had to reload.
we had a problem with Rob Kelly a couple of weeks ago. His video just did not work.
Hmm.
You know, so I was afraid that this was going to happen. So, all right. So you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Are there any? Is there anything in particular that you want to make sure I cover, or is there anything in particular you want to make sure I don't cover?
No, I'm pretty much open.
Okay. I
Yeah,
like
I
to
mean,
ask, you know, I like to ask because sometimes, you know, somebody will tell me I don't want to talk about original Jeet Kune Do versus Jeet Kune Do concepts and all that nonsense, which is fine with me.
yeah, no, whichever way you go, I'm fine.
Yeah, well, I do have to tell you, we are going to have to. I'll show it to you now, but we're definitely going to have to talk to. We're definitely going to have to talk about this. Hang on one second. I think I can show you this right now. Let's see. We got to talk about that.
Unfortunately, he passed away, and now I have a new mentor.
So as I was making this postcard, right, and I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to Marc about that. Something occurred to me. I was like, man, I wonder if he's still around. Yeah.
A year ago, he passed.
Oh,
but you can talk about him. He was my mascot, you know.
Right. Oh yeah, no, we're definitely gonna talk about him. All right, okay. So listen, so I'm gonna go freshen up a little bit and come back on.
Okay.
This is the test broadcast that I'm recording right now. So then when I come back on, I'll click for the regular broadcast, and whatever it is that you did, you just do that again.
Okay, so just refresh the page.
Yeah, that's probably all you'll have to do.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so just give me like 5 minutes and then I'll be back on.
No problem.
Okay. All right, man. See you soon.
See ya.
All right, take care.
Hi, my name is Guru Marc Halleck, and I'm from North Shore Academy of Martial Arts, and I'm here with my student, Dante Rosario, and we are going to show you 4 ways to enter into the Zet. We're going to start with a jab. So he's going to jab, I'm going to outside deflect, I'm going to walk in, I'm going to turn him this way so you guys can see. He's going to outside deflect, punch, I'm going to outside deflect. I walk in, I wrench, hit the groin, hit the face, roll, knee to the shoulder, kick it back, and take it down. First one. Again. Second one's off the jab cross. I parry the jab, I shoulder stop. I push and I underhook. If his arm comes over my head like that, that's fine. I'll just take it in front, sweep, and go. If his arm doesn't go in front, so I shoulder stop, push, and I just underhook. Go right to the sweep and the hook and take him down. Okay, so after jab cross hook, I catch, I shoulder stop, I cover and hit. If I go to under wrap and his arm comes over, again, I'm just going to lift it over. He's a really big guy. But if his arm doesn't go over, and I push and I cover, then I wrap. I like to keep the face like that to keep him away. I can sweep. If he's giving me any resistance, I just step, push him through, and go into Putter Kapala. Up the rear leg kick, I'm going to do Karasat. So I shield spear, push, walk in, underhook, take down. Those are the 4 ways to enter into the Zet.